Welcome back to Travis' Sports Show. Hope everyone out there is doing well today. I just got done finished reading Jeff McLane's article on Howie Roseman titled "The Untouchable Howie Roseman: Staying Power." It's an outstanding piece, stunning piece. A lot of really intriguing, some terrifying developing stories in this piece by Jeff McLane. He spent months talking to over 24 team sources and league sources, compiling all the information. It's a great piece. I'm going to get into some of the kind of in chronological order of how the article went. Some of the top notes from the piece from Jeff McLane. He started off saying how Howie Roseman would go in the Jeffrey Lurie's suite periodically during the games, just kind of talk about what he's seen in the games and everything. It kind of shows right there from the start his unique bond the two of them have, and they share right there off the bat. You don't see that often. Obviously, a GM going back and forth between owner's suite during the games. Howie is clearly Jeffrey Lurie's most trusted advisor and confident. We've seen that, we've heard that before and everything, but it's true. I mean, he's the only guy who really talks to on the practice field, in the meetings and everything. And he's been through now 3 head coaches getting fired, and he's still here. And that shows you right there. And Jeffrey Lurie backed him in that press conference, talking about how he has full faith and trust in him. Definitely he's the most trusted and confident person. Again, practically spends all the time with Howie. His record with final say over the roster and everything: 62, 49-1, 4 playoff appearances, 4-3 record there, and obviously the 1 Super Bowl. So look, it's not bad. It's solid overall. He's a solid GM, but got a lot of work to do. The decision to draft Jalen Hurts, with encouragement from Jeffrey Lurie, obviously, kind of started the spiral of Wentz getting pissed off, and obviously leading to this kind of whole horrible year for Wentz and getting traded and everything. One source said that Jeffrey Lurie sees the Eagles through Roseman-colored glasses. Now that is stunning right there. Coming from a source, that quote, that's really not good. If you view your team through your GM's colored glasses, that's just crazy to think about that quote. Sources say that Howie's not a bad guy. He's got a good heart, but he can be evasive. You need to have good people skills to deal with him. It's kind of, intriguing right there. Obviously, Jeffrey Lurie is very involved. He's been getting more involved as the years went on, as he's been the owner of the Eagles. And now where this article gets really terrifying, stunning, is when Jeff McLane puts in the article that Jeffrey Lurie was despondent after the playoff win versus the Bears in 2018, after the offense only scored 16 points. Remember that game? The real defensive game. Obviously, it's a double doink game. Eagles score late. Bears driving down. They missed a 43-yard field goal by Cody Parkey. Double doink and everything. Real great win going on the road against the Bears. But supposedly Jeffrey Lurie was not pleased because the offense only scored 16 points. Look. When you want to be an offensive team, you want to have an explosive offense, but especially when you're in the playoffs, you get a win like that. I feel like as the owner, you should be pleased. And then talks about the 2019 upset win last year versus Green Bay. Early in the season, the Eagles needed that win. It's a huge win going on the road to Green Bay. Beat them 34-27, put up 34 points. But supposedly, Jeffrey Lurie was not pleased because the offense ran the ball too much. They ran it too much, and you were not pleased. You wanted to just throw it all day. Look, we've gotten on Doug Peterson so many times, countless times, about throwing the ball too much, not running the ball, this, that. You see his press conferences were pathetic this year. He could barely get the words out of his mouth, stuttering so much, not know what to say. But I kind of feel for him. Look, if this was Jeffrey Lurie, his whole thing about, throw, and he's telling Doug, gotta do this, gotta do that. It says next that Jeffrey Lurie would meet with Doug on Tuesdays during the season, everything, analyze, critique the games, what went on, good decisions, bad decisions, everything. So, he's probably telling him, what to do. And, look, it's just crazy. When your owner's doing that, that's not a good look. Look, That's why Deuce Staley, everyone wanted him to be head coach. Like, oh, we're gonna run the ball more, this, that. Maybe that's the reason why he didn't get a job, because we know Deuce would run the ball, and that's just really stunning development right there from this piece from Jeff McLane. Next thing, it says nobody was willing to say anything bad about Carson Wentz because they knew it would be their death sentence. That is insane. Obviously, we've heard that. A lot of guys, they've seen his practice tape, his practice reps, everything out there, whatnot. Personnel guys, scouting, guys on team, and so forth. But it says that none of them were willing to speak up because they knew it would be their death sentence. They'd be kicked out and lost their job, which is an insane thing about. That's a view how high Carson Wentz was, and that it's like untouchable. Supposedly Jim Schwartz criticized Carson Wentz at Jeffrey Lurie's house at a gathering in June of 2019 after his poor spring, lackluster spring, poor play and everything. But that was to no deal, as the deal for Carson Wentz extension was signed a week later after Jim Schwartz criticizes Wentz at Jeffrey Lurie's house. Again, crazy. Jim Schwartz, obviously, Mets coordinator all 5 years for Doug Peterson. There were reports that Jim Schwartz kind of took the DC job, thinking maybe Doug get fired after a year and be a head coach. It's all crazy stuff. And now hearing this about Schwartz criticizing Wentz, just crazy stuff, man. Was the next thing we got up here was that Jeffrey Lurie gives Howie an unlimited financial leash to hire more people and to pay them more money to work for the Eagles. Just to fix his mistakes. Look, we've all seen the amount of mistakes Howie's made, right? Now it comes out that Jeff is giving him more and more money, pays person here, person there, in every single department, wherever it is, personnel, scouting, this, that, just to fix Howie's wrongdoings. Crazy. The next big development is insane. This is Howie and Lane Johnson after 2018 loss in overtime to the Titans, which I had my reaction to that loss on my channel. Go check it out. Lane Johnson had a bad game, poor game that day, gave a couple sacks and everything. One was to a rookie, and supposedly the week after the game, cafeteria, Howie goes up to Lane Johnson and says, "I've never seen you get beat by a rookie before." I guess he didn't really think Johnson would take it that serious, but supposedly Johnson was very pissed that he said it to him, left the facility as a whole. And then a couple weeks later, they're playing the Jaguars down in London, and Lane Johnson battling an ankle injury. Game time decision in that game, trying to test it out before. Goes in the locker room. Howie sees him with a mouthpiece in, and he says, "Good, you have your mouthpiece in. Now you can't say anything stupid." Whoa, wait, what? What are you saying to him? Again, kind of in a joking manner maybe, but Johnson did not take it good at all. Supposedly, per sources, players had to convince Lane Johnson to play in that game after it all went down in the locker room. Johnson ended up playing. He only played a few snaps after he had to come out with ankle injury and everything. Just crazy. That's terrifying. Guys, yes, he probably wants to talk to a lot of players on the field, this, that. His relationship's different with each player. But with Lane Johnson, your guy from 2013, after Eric Fisher now released by the Chiefs, he's the only guy to still be on the same team. Supposedly, the relationship is pretty good now. Supposedly, it was on the flight home from London. They sat next to each other and apologized, Howie did to him, and their relationship is good now. But that's crazy development. Really stunning thing about. And next up, we got I think he feels he has a relationship with everybody in the locker room. I think he would be horrified by the truth. That's sources, former players, and everything, talking about how he thinks he has, like I said about Lane Johnson, feels like he has a relationship with every player he can go up to and say whatever he wants to them. But he's saying that he thinks he'd be horrified by the truth because a lot of players do not feel that way with Howie Roseman. Obviously, look, he has had a love affair with Carson Wentz and Fletcher Cox, with both their fatheads in his office, only them two. And now it said in the piece that they might not have forced decisions on Howie, but were greatly influenced Howie's decisions on different players and coaches and whatnot. Obviously, Howie Roseman with Jeffrey Lurie had the last say on coaching staff. We've seen that last year with Doug Peterson telling his guys they're going to come back, and literally the next day they get fired. And that's up to, so Doug would tell him what he want, stay or go or not, but it's up to Howie and Jeffrey Lurie, final say. Another big thing was the assistant coaches felt as if they were being undermined and destined to be sacked. Supposedly, per sources, after the 2019 loss to the Dolphins, which was a terrible loss, coach stumbled upon a list of potential new assistants that was left on a printer. Now, this part happens a lot. I mean, a lot of teams have names, new guys. When they fire guys, obviously you gotta have guys ready to hire. But to have this piece of paper sitting on a printer for current guys on the staff to see, and then supposed to was passed around the whole staff and everything, just not a good look. Not good. I mean, that's crazy. Crazy. Next thing down the piece was that Roseman would get mad when told by like scouts that his guys, his rookies, were not doing good. He says he would make them look bad, and he would get really pissed off about that and everything. Look, not a good look. We've seen his drafts, not good in the last few years, but he's trying to hold back, and got mad because they're his players, the guys he drafted. He was saying that it takes time to develop, give him a few years. You can't get so pissed after a year or two. But his draft picks got to work out. Next thing, it says the assistants wanted out before Doug was even fired. It's we've seen that. One guy even left before Doug got fired. It was Joel, whatever. But some other guys just wanted to leave the team because they didn't want to work for the Eagles anymore, even if Doug and the staff wasn't even going to get fired. Which, again, is crazy. Not a good look at all for the Eagles organization as a whole. It shows you how much turmoil is really in this team and on the whole organization from top to bottom. And then next, obviously, this past year, we had the scouts who wanted Justin Jefferson, the top guy. He should have been picked. But supposedly the coaching staff, led by Doug, wanted Jalen Reagor, who felt that he would fit better with the team's needs. And then Howie and Doug's relationship dwindled down this past season, as we could tell. Doug went in there in the last meeting. Look, he worn down. We could tell the whole year Doug was wearing down. Week by week, press conference by press conference, talking to the press. But we went in there and talking to Jeffrey Lurie. He stood his ground. He wanted to promote his guys from within. Jeff didn't want that. He stood his ground, and he got fired. But now that's about it. And now look, Howie's still here, and that's the thing. How much is Howie trying to spin the narrative to his advantage? Because look, we know how tight Jeffrey and Howie are, and it's led to Howie staying with the team through 3 coaches getting fired. Andy Reid, Chip Kelly, Doug Peterson now. And look, he's got to turn it around. 2 years left on his contract. How much longer will he be here? We don't know. Has to turn it around. He's great with numbers and everything. And he's great, get us back probably with a salary cap under control and everything. Right now, we're in obviously not good situation with the cap, but like I said, he's good with that. But the main thing is got to hit on this year's draft. And yeah, got to turn it around. I mean, look, he's viewed right now as not a good GM with the Eagles fans and everything. Has a Super Bowl, but then the last few years have been absolutely terrible for him. He's got to turn around. And yeah, I mean, this article with Jeff McLane was a really eye-opening, outstanding piece. Read the whole thing. Talked about the whole organization as a whole, from the Howie's like the whole way through, but also like Jeffrey Lurie, Doug Peterson, the whole other coaching staff, personnel department, scouting department, players. Really, really well-written piece. Again, main thing was Howie, though. Talks about him as he didn't play football, got his first job as an analytic guy and everything, worked his way up. And yeah, outstanding piece. You guys definitely give it a read. Definitely recommend it. A lot of great stuff there by Jeff McLane from theinquirer.com. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe to the show, and go Birds!